Welcome to Queering Theology and Philosophy and Spirituality. And this is the favorite channel for those who want to study philosophy, theology, and spirituality in a queer way. I love that music that is playing in the background. You can hear the tambourines and the noises that are inspired by Egypt. And today, the ancient Egyptian sounds. Today we're going to do God is double-sexed or intersex, and so are we. And because we are created in the image of God, therefore we are God. Psalms 82 verse 6 is so clear when it says, we are gods and we are the children. We are children of the Most High. And today we're going to read from Kenneth Copeland. Of course, we're going to go through Bible scriptures, but I want to start with Kenneth Copeland. Well, he is not open about whether he's an LGBTQ church, but he said something very... So sorry, I had some... when you're online, you've got a lot of people who call you and have other issues to deal with. So this is live, so bear with us with the interruptions. So we decided to pick Kenneth Copeland for now. Of course, the scriptures are very clear that God is intersexed, and we're going to show you that. But we want to show you a few preachers in the world that have declared this for some time. And actually, Kenneth Copeland, when he declared this, some people called him a false teacher for saying that. I mean, look at the next ones here. This guy here is attacking Kenneth Copeland for discussing that thing. Is God male or female? A very good question. And influential televangelist Kenneth Copeland suggests that God is both male and female, and I agree with him 100%. And so all of these guys are talking about him. Of course, majority of them really didn't understand Kenneth Copeland, but I did understand him. At least now, I did understand him. Of course, the first time I had this was in 2008. And it was interesting. I didn't refute it, but I didn't support it as such because I was so young and I was still understanding myself, because I even didn't know the word intersex at that time. I just used to know things, if you like a man, you like a man. That's what I used to have. I was just having my feelings, homosexual feelings, but I didn't know that it was based on what God is saying. So we want to read what Kenneth Copeland had to say. Let's see if we're going to get this opened. So, we were just saying how Kenneth Copeland, this first paragraph, has been a bit defeated by science. And, of course, then we also have IVF. But primarily stem cell reproduction has cancelled out the heterosexual reproduction. And, of course, most countries are still have not permitted stem cell reproduction, But the science is there and it has been proven and it works, so it's done. It's only a matter of time when countries will now adopt it. And another good thing about stem cell reproduction, it has made every human fertile. Yes, that is the miracle of stem cell reproduction. Every human is fertile. Why? Because the stem cell is used to create another human. That's the thing. Not so even if you don't have the sperms that can't fertilize you, or you don't, or your eggs cannot be fertilized, or you don't have eggs. There are some women who don't have eggs. There are some women who don't have uteruses. There are some women who don't have fallopian tubes. There are very many people who have issues, but it doesn't mean they can't have children. They can have it. They can have children because of stem cell reproduction. All you do is take the stem cell of that person and you culture it. To culture means to grow, cultivate. That's where we get the word cultivate. We get it from the word culture. So you put them in a dish, cultivate them, let them grow. The stem cells grow and then they will form into an egg and also sperm. And then you are able to put the sperm into the egg, and voila, the infertile woman will have a child and the infertile man will have a child. So there is no more infertility. It's gone thanks to stem cell reproduction. So now for Kenneth Copeland, I think he didn't know that science and that's the issue. Now people have argued about whether God is male or female, but the Bible tells us that he's both. Are you seeing? This is where I can agree with Kenneth Copeland, and I say, yes, you're right. God is both male and female. That's right, he insists. Wonderful, because in the Hebrew language, all words have gender. They are either male or female. But the Hebrew word Jehovah is both masculine and feminine. He is as much female as he is male, and as much male as he is female. Originally, mankind was that way too. And I want to add, not originally, forever, mankind is okay. As far as man has existed in the world, mankind is both male and female. So let's see where he's going to deviate so that we can sharpen him a bit. When God first made man, he was as much female as he was male, you see? So Adam was male and female. Then God separated the female part out of and made woman, or the man with the womb. And after that, man, man with the womb. And after that, man and woman had to come together to be perfectly whole. Now, I disagree with this. There was no separation of the female part. What I mean by that is, if you remove a female, you see, it cancels out what he has said. If man is both male and female, when you remove his female part, he ceases to be man. You see? So there was no removal of your female part. Rather, Eve was the child of Adam. And actually, the story of the creation of man in Genesis is a religious undertones, has religious undertones. But in science, it has been found out that it is actually the woman who was first, according to science. And when the science, and why is this so? Because the X, the woman owns both male and female children, but the man only produces a Y chromosome that creates a man. So there's a science, I can't put it for you that well. There's a very good book I read, and it was scientifically based, and they gave fact that it was actually women that were first, or the female. And some even go further to say that the chimpanzee was our mother. And there was a mutation that happened in the children she had. And that mutation in that genetic change, because remember, chimpanzees also have males and female. So they're always having male and female until one female chimpanzee had a baby or babies that had gone through mutation, genetic mutation. And this is where you now had man, and man came in, and man and the Homo sapiens and all of the Homo habilis and all of these Homo erectus, they came from the chimpanzees, they came from the apes. But the fact is the mitochondria, that is what mothers give their children. The mitochondria in the chimpanzee, that's what some people claim. I'm not saying it's still, I'm still reading the science also myself, is that it was passed down and it mutated. But in the mutation, the boy children became more and more homo, man. And that's what happened. And then, of course, now there's a new science out there that they believe the Y chromosome is dying. And it's true in the sense that the world, 51% of the world is female and 49% is male. So according to these two female scientists, they believe that the world is going to have more females and therefore the Y chromosome is going to disappear. But guess what? We need to shout hallelujah to those of us who love Y chromosome. It is because stem cell reproduction is the best mechanism to balance male-female population so that we can still have more males in society, if that's what we need to balance the equation. For example, if there's so many women, then through stem cell reproduction, you will produce many men so that the balance is created. If there's so many men in the system, then we can add more women through stem cell reproduction. So basically, we have become gods. Congratulations to Yuval Harari, the gay historian and academic who is teaching the world right now that what this century belongs to. It belongs to Homo Deus. Homo Deus. And Homo Deus means Homo God. And I love language because Deus is like two in French. Deus, Deus. And that's where you get the word double. That's where you get the word doubt. That is where you got diablos, two. So God is two. He's male and female. We are intersex. And Deus, so we are Homo Deus, meaning we are now come back to the stage whereby we are both male and female, and we can even control reproduction. Because in the past, reproduction was controlled by heterosexual union and a fertile heterosexual union. Because you can be in a heterosexual union and you're not fertile, one of you is not fertile, and therefore there will be no children. But right now, even infertile people are having children through these means like IVF and stem cell reproduction and all of these other methods of having children. So basically, I don't agree. I agree with the part that we are both male and female. And I also agree, but I don't agree that it's an original thing. It is a fact. Men and women are male and female. I mean, men are male and female, women are male and female. Now, And I know for Kenneth Copeland, he's looking at it in the way that this is why men and women need to marry. But that's not the science that's there. The science today, which is a fact and has existed for thousands of years, is men have male and female hormones because they came from a union that was composed of a man and a woman. And then a woman has male and female hormones. That makes her male and female. And this is why I can't wait for stem cell reproduction to release its first children so that we can understand, will a child be born with fully male hormones or fully female hormones if the stem cells used to create the egg and the sperm happen to be female, or if the stem cells to create the egg and the sperm happen to be male alone. So we're going to go and see this, and we're still doing this study as we continue in this pursuit. So he goes on talking about the teams and blah blah blah, and he gives a scripture. Now let's see, this is, we've done what you call deductive reasoning, and we've gone through we have gone through what Kenneth Copeland says, but we've got to go to the Bible in the KJV, Genesis chapter 1. I think we need Strong's Bible. Strong's Concordance. Strong's Concordance shows us the Hebrew words so that you can understand what is being said. So let's see from this guy called godrules.net. So we want to go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. And God said, let us make man. Who? Make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. So in our image and after our likeness, looking like us and our image. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. And you see, in his own image. The image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Are you seeing? That God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. So take this first line. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. So the image of God is male and female. And that's why God is double-sexed and intersex. Now, this is a very interesting, the best verse in the Bible for intersex persons and all humanity, because I believe all humans are intersex. It's just that some are more intersex than others. Now, when you say someone is male and female, what does this mean? They have male components and female components. And as I've told you, every human in the world has male and female hormones. Yes. The only thing is that the degree of hormones in a man vary, as in another woman, they also vary. So you may find some men have a lot of female hormones in their system naturally. even how they talk and everything. You find he has a very soft voice. Hi and all of that. Yeah, yeah. Yes, it's normal. That's who he is. It's the setting. He's been configured to have a lot of female hormones in his system. And then you find women who have a lot of male hormones in their system naturally, not the what we have today where you can inject yourself, which is not bad. It's not bad to inject yourself with hormones. I support, be who you want to be. We are gods. God has given you authority over your life to take charge. So don't worry about people telling you that you you were born this way. No. What I mean by that is if you were assigned at birth to be male but you feel like you're female, then you are free to put hormones in yourself and be female, the female you want to be. And it's all based on this story, on this. That's why some people, they when they inject themselves with hormones, they naturally become the way they want to be. And then there's some who don't really become so feminine. But the most important thing is that's what you wanted, do it. If you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, it's okay. And there's some natural people. What I mean by natural, they were innate. Yes. And another thing you need to understand about naturality never stops at birth. You see, we are still naturally growing. Our bodies are still in creative mode as we grow. And now with genetic revolution that's happening in the world, we are ever changing. Our bodies are ever changing drastically. Just like climate change is happening, we are also having genetic changes because of the foods we eat. There are some things you can take and they can make you feminine. It's a fact. There are some drugs you take and they can make you feminine. There are some some foods you eat and they make you have a lot of testosterone. Ladies in Africa have a disease called goiter, and it's a thyroid. The thyroid gland becomes swells. Why? It's because of hormones. Even during the time when they didn't want Semenya to run, Semenya, the IAAF gave the guidelines, and one of in the guidelines, it was very interesting that they said that women who have extremely high testosterone due to natural causes or tumors, a brain tumor. And I was like, wow, very interesting that a brain tumor can make a woman have high testosterone. It's very interesting. And so people should understand that you can become, like a brain tumor. Do you know, we're not born with a brain tumor. Most people aren't born with brain tumors. But when you hit the age of 30, you get a brain tumor. Let's say, for example, you're a lady, you get a brain tumor, and it grows. Sometimes it's a benign, a very kind brain tumor, not harmless, not cancerous. So it stays in your body and it makes you masculine. And people look at you and say, hey, this lady, my goodness, she's like a lion. And not knowing she's working with a tumor. And it's increasing testosterone. It's making her body produce testosterone at a very high rate. And you see she's very aggressive and everything. And you'll find it's just a brain tumor. And it's a tumor that's benign. It's not painful. It doesn't cause, it's just tiny. It's just there. It's in the brain. And thankfully we have heads. They cover our brain. If we were walking with our brains out, my God, wouldn't we be seeing people having pimples? Because a brain tumor is just a pimple in the brain. And sometimes it's very big. Have you seen a pimple on your skin and you feel like, oh no, it's a very bad mark on your skin? That's the same way the brain tumor is. And it's worse because it can affect your thinking, it can affect your cognitive systems. So anyway, it's very interesting that it is being so it's very interesting that as I was telling you the example of a lady, she's 30 year old, feminine all her life, then all of a sudden she gets a brain tumor, and it is benign, and it makes her have very manly features, testosterone. Maybe she can even grow beards, and yes, there are ladies who have beards, very many. And so next thing you know, it is a tumor that did that to her. And voila, she's a man. And just because she's a man, she still sleeps with a man if she's a heterosexual woman. Or if she's a lesbian, she will sleep with women. And that's the thing. So, what we're trying to say in conclusion is that science is a very important subject, even in religion. Religion cannot ignore science. And that's why we are standing with LGBTQ persons. We believe LGBTQ persons can exist in a religious space without condemnation because science is on their side. You see, it's on their side. And you have to understand all the homophobic texts in many religions, especially Abrahamic religions, they were not based on science. They never did scientific research. They were so external in their judgment, so external that they didn't understand the why people are gay, why people are transgender. I mean, like, I don't want to go to those scriptures because today we were dealing on God being intersex, and therefore we are intersex, because if we are created in the image of God, then it means we are also male and female. Each and every one of us has a male and female part, and not what Kenneth Copeland was generally saying, that you separate the female part. There is no separation. A man has a female and a male part. I know some men don't want to hear that, but that's a fact. Go and read. The science is there. Estrogen is in a man's body. And what you do is you just balance. You can balance the estrogen. So some men who don't want to see a lot of estrogen in their body, they put a lot of testosterone in their system through a lot of muscular activity. You go to the gym, you build yourself, you take steroids, and those are the things that they lower your estrogen, because a man who has a lot of testosterone has a lot of muscle. And other than muscle, if you don't have muscle, it's also hair. It's so beautiful. Oh, these days, science is so beautiful. You just can't believe it, because, you can see a man, he is not muscular, but he has a lot of testosterone. It is evidenced by the hair loss in men. The men who have bald-headed, they have a lot of testosterone, but they're not muscular. Some of them, yes. So there is diversity in your in testosterone distribution. Just as I've said, in some women, they can get they can also have a lot of testosterone in their system. I mean, look at the female boxers, female footballers. When you see them, they go to the gym to exercise, and they build their muscles, and some of them also take injections to do that, to make themselves masculine. You see, I remember seeing a woman who was so strong, she has pecs. I was just saying, wow, that's unbelievable. Very many pecs, she had them. Okay, I mean, rather abs, sorry. She had abs in them. And yes, it's understandable. And people should not reject such humans. As I've told you, the most important thing, we are gods. Take control. You've got the authority. You've got the authority. And it's because we are created in the image of God, who is intersex, and you are intersex. And next time we're going to read and try and find out, how are the angels created? Why are the angels considered sexless? They're considered sexless. Why is it? Were angels created in the image of God? That's what we need to find out. And we'll do that in another study. So we are very happy to share with you that teaching. It's a very beautiful teaching, and we want to conclude it this way. And of course, most of these verses now have been passed by time, because because science has come and has made us understand humanity and life. And I'm very happy to be a part of science merging with religion. Not necessarily to make religion, to make religion subservient to science. Yes, religion is subservient to science. Why? Science is truth. It is truth. And God is truth. So, religion is a confused, or religions that don't have science are confused children. And they're looking for their parent to lead them and to guide them. And science is that parent. Because science is the truth. When you pursue science, my friend, you will know many things in this world. I was thinking about chemicals and how we are chemicals. You know you're a chemical? Yes, you're made up of chemicals in different forms, states of matter. Hormones are chemicals. Yes. And some people have more chemicals than others. And that's what makes us different. You find a man is very small and another woman is very big. Why? It's the chemicals. They're different. Diversity of chemical composition. And in different states of form. Bones are chemicals. They're just in solid form. The air we breathe are chemicals. It's just that it's in gaseous form. Blood is a chemical. It's just that it's in liquid form. And we have various chemicals in various forms in the body. So the body is a very complicated, diverse structure. And so this is a very good, and it makes you think. Of course, many atheists, because of this issue of sex, and especially the creation of Adam and Eve, they really don't trust the creation story. And I don't blame them. Yes, I don't. I support atheists. They're my brothers and sisters. And I used to be an atheist before, so I really understand where they're coming from. They like science. And guess what? Science is God. So they are not bad people. Yes, in fact, they're helping religious people understand the world. And religious people need to listen to atheists. Yes, you need to listen to atheists. And this is what I used to tell the President of America, Donald Trump. You've got to have scientists as your best friends. And if you don't have them as your best friends, you will be in a quagmire, because the scientists are the ones giving us understanding of about many things in the world. And that's how I see it, because knowledge comes from God. Or knowing something is godly. It's not bad to know about sex. It's not bad to know about homosexuals. It's not bad to understand, to read about transgenders. All of those is a search for truth. Truth is not bad. Who say truth is bad? Truth is wonderful. And it's so nice when you've got to know, because truth is power. Knowledge is power. And what is knowledge is truth. And there's so many things to know in this world. So many. Everything. Even to know what your phone. So you've got to understand the whole world is a system of gods. We are gods. We are working with each other. Every person you see is a god. And is a diverse god. There are some gods who have too much testosterone. Get used to them. There are some gods who have too much estrogen. Get used to them. There are other gods, they are always happy. Get used to them. There are other gods who get sad all the time. Get used to them. You know, you're in your family, you're a family of gods. And then a god is worshiping another god called Jesus, and another one is worshiping another god called Allah, and another one is worshiping another god called Diana, and the other one is worshiping 3 million gods. He's a Hindu, so he's worshiping everybody. He wants to, please, get used to them. It is the world. That's the liberty. And then you have a system called countries where these gods are being controlled by one god who wants, that's why we live in democracy. A democracy is a system of many gods. And then these gods go for a fight called election. And they put their votes. And they side. You know, have you watched the Clash of the Titans? That's what happens in this god world. Homo Deus. We are together with Yuval Harari. Yes, we are. And so, I'm telling you, I can talk about this forever. The problem I have with religion and philosophy and spirituality, you can actually go on and on and on. But we have already stated what we wanted to say. It's based in science, and religion said it. You know, Christians cannot run away from this, especially Christians and Jews who follow the Bible or who are religious. Yes, we are not attacking atheists, atheist Jews, and atheist non-Jews. We're not attacking them. We are telling Christians and Jews who believe in the book of Genesis that their Bible has told them that God is male and female. And this means Jesus is male and female. And Jesus even said he's a hen, that like a hen, he wanted to put Jerusalem under his wings. Didn't Jesus know what a hen was? Why did he call himself a hen? He knew why he used the word hen. He knew. He was using his female part. He went and wore his female part. As I told you, some men, just because we are male and female, both a man is male and female and a woman is male and female, doesn't mean that we use both parts. I think now let me conclude with that explanation. Like intersex people, I have friends who say they are intersex, and they have the body parts, vagina and penis. And you'll ask them, where do you like having sex? And some of them would say, I prefer sex in my vagina. And another one will say, you know what, I prefer sex in my asshole. And then another one will say, I would prefer sex with my penis. And then another intersex will tell you, I prefer sex in any part and with any part. And it's like that. So what am I trying to say? There are some people who will use their male part for life, and others will use their female part for life. And there are others who will use their female part for some time, and then they switch to their male part. Another time, another one will use their male part, and then the other one will use their female part for some time. There are some people who switch. That's why there's some people, today I feel like I'm male, then tomorrow I'm female. That's why we have the LGBTQIAAP. It is to cover people who have those problems. And, or maybe let's not call them problems. Let's not be negative. It's time to leave the negative zone and be happy. It's diversity. Some people are very fluid. And so today I really feel like a woman, and I just want to show the world that I got it, and I'm here. And then another time, the guy wants to be macho and says, "You know what? I want my thing now." And so it's a weird world we live in, and it's exciting. I don't want to see it like it's sad. For some people, it's sad, especially if you grew up in the straight system, the heteronormative, where you were told there was only a man and a woman, and that a man is a man, and that a woman is a woman, and they never explained to you the biology of being a man and a woman. They never did so. Whoa, you will not understand sexuality. You will not understand intersex. But if you understand that men and women both have male and female hormones, then you will understand intersex, understand transgenders, understand homosexuals. It's simple. It's very simple. So we are doing this for the Christians and Jews because in the Quran, we could try and look at the Quran, and let's do that as we end. Let's go and read the Quran as we conclude. Is it going to come? Come on. Yeah. The internet has been having problems. Okay. So let's look at creation story from the Quran. Of course, I've read the Quran, but not to the point of cramming. So I would have just gone to the surah. I hope they give us let's see if this guy, who is not a fighter, let's come here and see, what does the Quran say about the sex of God? I think that's how I should have asked the question. Google, come on, show us what you got. Okay. This is very interesting. So we want to see what the Quran says because the Bible is clear, and it's a Hebrew book that has been adopted by non-Hebrews who became Christians, and then some Hebrews also became Christian. Okay, so sorry. This is happening. These days people like advertising everywhere. So I cannot attempt to switch off. Guys, okay, this provides and union does not. Instead, fragmented passages are scattered across many of its 114 chapters or surah. Tables to assimilate this. Okay, let's go through that table. I hope the table is here in a good way. Yes, man was created in paradise, Jannah, not on earth. The first couple later banished to earth. That's the Quran, Surah 2 and 36. And the creation in the Bible, the creation week there was creation on each day of the creation week, and then there are no clear details of each creation day. Some vague clustering on the days. So basically, there's no creation week in the Quran. Creation also in 6 days could also be interpreted as millions of years. That is for the Quran. Man and the animals were created Vegetarian. That is according to Genesis chapter 1. But in in the Quran, carnivory apparently integral to the life on the created earth from the first. So in the Quran, beef was so good to eat. Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, has declared that you could eat meat, and but for Genesis chapter 1, they said no, we were vegetarians. So that's a very good contrast. Man was created naked but not ashamed. The Quran speaks of Adam's and his wife's nakedness becoming apparent to them after they sinned. Also implies that they were wearing some kind of raiment prior to the fall. So to the Quran, they were not really naked even before they fell. But in the Genesis, men and women were naked and were not ashamed. Okay, this is about Jesus. Good. Nice nice thing. I want to finish here and see the sex of God according to the Quran. According to the Quran. Okay, let's try Wikipedia. We'll try it. Let's try about Islam. No, I think I prefer Wikipedia. It's more neutral, so nobody's writing a biased article. So the gender of God is viewed as a literal or allegorical aspect of a deity. In polytheistic religions, gods are more likely to have literal sexes, which would enable them to interact with each other and even with humans in a sexual way. Yes, sex is very important in polytheistic religions, but monotheistic religions are not so sexual. Now, let's come to the Abrahamic religions. And we've already looked at, you see, I didn't lie to you, neither did. Are you seeing what's here? God, this is a Hebrew and Christian Bible, is usually figuratively imagined in male terms in biblical sources with female analogy in Genesis chapter 1, 26, Psalms 21, 23, and a mother, Luke 15, Deuteronomy 32, Isaiah 49, 42, and a mother hen, Matthew 23 and Luke 13. There you are, Jesus said it. And Elohim were male and female, and humans were made in their image. Elohim, the gods were male and female. And I've told you, males have male and female hormones, and female have male and female hormones. Only that, what happens, there's a competition that happens in the body of the male and the female. And one side wins, and the other one serves the other. But for some men, their female part can win over the male part. And some women, vice versa. So it's a complicated thing. And Judaism, Jewish philosophy does not attribute to God either sex or gender. So there you are. God is genderless in Judaism. And Christianity, I like how Wikipedia have written this. You see, they have separated it from Hebrew and Christian Bible. So they have separated the Bible from Judaism as a religion. And Christianity is different from a Christian Bible. Yes, you can have a Bible, but you're not a Christian. Do you know that? An atheist can buy a Bible, and he's not a Christian. Even a Hindu can buy it. How many Muslims read Bibles? Very many. You don't have to be part of the religion to read its text. Yes, you can read even without believing that religion. So, having the belief that God the Father, God the Son, and the Holy Spirit are distinct persons, and Jesus Christ was clearly masculine, yes, he was circumcised, on the eighth day. Hebrews did not circumcise girls. They circumcised boys. And Jesus is said to be circumcised, very male. But guess what? We've already told you that Jesus called himself a hen, and being a man does not mean you have no female hormones. So Jesus also had female hormones. So the Catholic Church says God is neither man or woman, nor woman. He is God. They don't want to get into this fiasco. Yet Genesis chapter 1 is very clear that the image of God is male and female. So I don't know what happened to Rome. Now let's go to the LDS Church. It's not LSD, the drug. It's the Latter-day Saints Church that teaches that God the Father, God the Son, and the Holy Spirit are physically distinct. They also teach that God the Father is married to a divine woman referred to as Heavenly Mother. Humans are considered to be the spirit children of these heavenly parents. Interesting. The gender of the Holy Spirit, as in Hebrew, the divine presence of God, the Holy Spirit, is Shekinah, and is feminine. The AH shows you that it's a feminine word. But in the Greek, they use a masculine word. Can you see the weird thing about religion? That Hebrew values the feminine spirit of God. That the spirit of God is feminine. But in the Greek, the spirit of God is male. And they use paraclete. Very interesting. And it's one Bible. It's just beautiful. Now, this is what we were looking for, the Quran. The oneness of God is of primary importance in the Quran and Islam. In Quran, Allah is most often referred to with the pronouns hu or hua. And although these are commonly translated as him, they can also be translated gender neutrally as them. Yes, that's why when you read the Quran, there's a place where they say we, and you wonder what they're talking about. Plural God, and yet they say they're monotheistic. This is also true of the feminine equivalent here. He states in the Quran, Surah 112, he begets not, nor is he begotten, and none is like him or them. Other references include the first person pronoun and the relative ma, that which. So basically, when the Quran says he begets not, nor is he begotten, they are saying he is not a father, meaning he is not male. And he's not a child, because he is not begotten. Because to be begotten is to be born. So God in Islam is not born, neither does he give birth, does he procreate. So the Islamic God, if he is a male, he cannot make babies. And I wonder what that means. Does that mean they're saying God does not release sperm? And this is why we're going to discuss about the angels and their sex. If angels had sex with women, then they have private sexual organs. If they had sex with women, if the story of Genesis 6 is true, that the sons of God were actually angels, because some people believe there were angels who had sex with women. And therefore that would mean that angels have sexual organs that are working. Now, Hinduism. Let's see Hinduism, our favorite religion, the oldest. Rig Veda, 2nd millennium BC. The first word of the Rig Veda is the name Agni, the god of fire. And Agni and Indra are both male divinities. And Brahma is also a male divinity, a female consort called Saraswati. There are many other gods. They are not simple forces of nature, and they have a complex character and their own mythology. The goddess of water, Apa, and Dawn Usas, and the complementary pairing of Father Heaven and Mother Earth. So you see, the Mother Earth region is from India, and the Father Heaven is also from India. And terrestrial. This is why the word matter forms the word material. So anyway, because Hinduism is polytheistic, they have very many gods, some who are female and some who are male, and some who are neutral gender. Like you see here, they're telling you about different schools of thought. And I mean, what does power show you? Sikhism, they believe God is a He and a Father, and they also say God is indescribable, therefore God has no gender. Now, animist religions, this is Africa mostly, and animist religions, among our societies, many of which still exist in the 21st century, they typically natural forces and shaman spiritual guides feature in these religions rather than full-fledged personal divinities with established personalities. And so animists do not attribute gender to spirits considered to permeate the world and its events. So they are also feminine and masculine. Okay, so I think we have done with Wikipedia. It's the best, it's better, it's more clearer. I didn't want to go to another place that would do it wrong. Good. So we have found what the Quran said, and the Quran basically says God is not a father. But in Christianity and Judaism, God is a mother and a father. So it's a very interesting world we live in of religions. But what you've got to understand, science stands on the fact that human beings are both male and female. Human beings, a man, and this is what we're going to end with, a man is both male and female. A woman is both male and female. And number 3, these parts vary in strength in every person. And some can stick to one part forever, others can switch, others can shift day to day, month to month, year to year. And others forever will become gender fluid. And you just don't know their sex. They're just everywhere. And the others who are neutral. Do you know there are some people who are neutral? And we can't wait to see what stem cell reproduction is going to do when they release the first humans and adults who are from stem cell reproduction. It will be glorious. Oh, I can't wait. We are living in the Homo Deus century, the century where man is God.